Hi, my name is Ode to Whirl. I'm currently the rank 2 overall and rank 1 mage player on the Norduno server. I am often live on twitch.tv/Ode to Whirl. In the last few days, I've gotten many questions regarding mage early game, so I've decided to make this video to answer those questions in a concise and informative manner. Today I will let you know what mage is, why you should play it, when you should become a mage, how to become a mage. I'll explain my mage tree and my build. I'll explain the stats you should prioritize on mage. And I'll let you know some early game items you can get to get your build started on mage and have an easier transition into the early to mid game. Alright, let's start off with what is mage? So in this game, you start out as a squire, and then you get to transition to one of three other classes. The first one is rogue. Rogue is a good class if you like to be squishy and not do a lot of damage. All jokes aside, you get to auto attack very quickly on rogue, and if you like to just see yourself attack very fast, it's a good class. Knight is good if you like to play this game on your second monitor. You really just can't die on that class. You click spacebar, wait for the enemy to die. If you like that gameplay, that class is for you. But this video is about mage. And mage has the highest damage in the game, specifically burst damage, which is very good for clearing mobs and farming XP. You have the most skill expression on this class. You have the most builds you can go. You have the most buttons you can click. You have a lot of spells, especially later on. You can just do a lot of interesting things on this class. Your stat spread is very interesting. You have 100% attack speed, 200% mana, 200% mana regen, and 200% magic, with 75% scaling in every other stat. And with those stats, you can build a lot of very interesting builds. You have the best scaling because of those stats as well, in my opinion. I think those stats are just very crazy for late game scaling. There are some cons though. First of all, because of your negative defensive multipliers, you have very low survivability. You often will die in like one hit, and it sucks, but that's what you get for doing the most damage. It's also a very difficult class, and because it's a difficult class, you will die a lot. It because you have to click so many buttons and you have so much skill expression, it's very easy to make mistakes and just die instantly. And when you die in this game, you lose 10% of your overall XP. And because you lose 10% of your overall XP, you can often lose hours, days, weeks, months of your time, especially later on. So that is rough. You also have a weak early game. It can be very hard to get through the mage early game. However, hopefully with this video, you'll have a little bit easier time. Now that you understand what mage is as a class and what you're getting into, when do you become a mage? At what level is a good level to become a mage? I would say it depends on whether you're group or solo farming. You can go mage in a group as early as like level 6, and you will have a decent experience in the game. As long as you have like some melee class in front of you who is taking the hits for you for the most part, you can go like level 6. However, if you're solo, you could go mage as late as level like 16. You could stay squire until 16. But at that point, I would probably become a mage because your stats are just better and it's easier to farm at that point. With that said, based on like how often you're farming in a group or what mobs you're farming, you can go mage at any level in between 6 to 16 based on preference. Now that you know when you want to become a mage, I'll quickly tell you how to become a mage. So if you talk to this merchant right here, the wizardly looking one, and you click the default dialog option of how can I learn magic or can you teach me magic, he will point you towards this tower. You just simply walk up this path, go up here, and walk across. Speak to this man, say you want to become a mage, and pay him 100 gold, and then you are a mage. Congratulations. Now I'll explain to you my mage tree. I really like the staff tree. It is the most fun to me. It is, in my opinion, the best. Very good tree to go. I would recommend this 100%. The way you play it is after casting your Conjure Fire, you get an auto attack that does a bunch of damage, a bunch of true damage. And when you cast Conjure Fire, you have a chance to proc a second Conjure Fire, which procs your true damage again. It's very good. There are other builds you could go. You could go the Orb build. It's a very good, like, tanky build if you don't want to die. However, because you kill mobs so much slower, you're taking more hits, so you're not really much tankier, and you also just kill mobs slower, so I don't really recommend that. You can also go the Glove Tree, however, I expect the Glove Tree to get nerfed, to be honest. It's even Knights are going the Glove Tree without wearing a glove. That's how broken this Unnatural Flow ability is. So it'll probably get nerfed, but if it doesn't, you could go Glove if you wanted to, in the early game specifically. Next up, let's go, what stats do you want to put in Mage? So your most important stat is Mana Regen by far. You prioritize Mana Regen over every other stat in the game. It's maybe even twice as valuable as every other stat. You also value Magic. You want to put your points always, every level, into Mana Regen and Magic and max those stats out. One important thing to note about Magic, though, on gear specifically, is you don't actually get your 2x multiplier from items. This applies to both positive and negative multipliers on all classes, on both Magic and Ability, the damaging stats. So if you see I get 3 from this, you'd expect me to get 6 because I have a 2x multiplier in Magic, but you actually only get 3 because of how the interaction works. So Magic on gear, a little overrated, but as a stat that you invest in every stat point, you definitely want it. So on the third stat point you get at every level, you want to split that between capacity, health, and mana. You want enough capacity to where you don't hate your life and you can play the game. You really like health because it means you're not going to die and lose a lot of XP. And mana is obviously good for casting spells. You want about twice as much mana as your mana regen. As you can see, I currently have a little bit less, which is fine. It's just a good benchmark to think about. Like, you want about twice as much mana, so you can get 2 full ticks of mana regen into your mana bar. Now I will explain to you how to get some early game items. So this merchant, if you need to buy your spells, sells all of them for a relatively cheap price. They're not like crazy expensive. He sells Conjure Fire, Heal, and Dash. You will need those spells throughout the entire game, so get them whenever you can. The next item I'm going to recommend to you is an item that drops from a boss that's sponsoring the day called the Gardener in the West Garden. It is called a Velvet Pouch. I would recommend another pouch. This pouch is kind of hard to get, but this one is just so good, and if you can get it early, it's a big upgrade. If you can't get it off the boss, you can also buy it from a merchant called Odie in the Merchant Square whenever you can get to exploring the desert. It is 1,000 gold there. It is a very big upgrade. I still am using this Velvet Pouch, although in a slightly higher rarity. Its stats at base is 10 mana and 2 mana regen, which is much better than every other bag I've seen. The next item you get is also from the Gardener. It is the Orb. It is probably your best offhand until you get the Royal Dagger later on. You can also buy the orb for 500 gold from Meredith. If you can neither acquire the orb from the Gardener or from Meredith or from the marketplace from another player, then you can get the gloves under this tower. They are free and they're not in a level locked chest, I believe, so you can just get them at any time, though they are much worse than the orb. They're good if you want to go the glove tree, though. You would wear these in your offhand. Another item in this tower, at the top of the tower, there's a one-way lever that is combat locked once you go up there with 3 somewhat difficult mobs, though you can clear this in a group or just die for it. The chest up top has a mana regen amulet, which is level 5 level locked, so you have to be level 5 to open this chest. If you go in a group, you should be able to handle it pretty easily. The next item, which you might have to die for, I died twice this playthrough for it, is the magic ring. If you want to skip this one, you don't have to get the magic ring. It's somewhat difficult to explain, but you walk through this door in this house, you go up the stairs, there's mobs, you go down a ladder, there's more mobs, you click a dig spot. You want to have a torch for this, by the way, because once you go through the dig spot, it is dark. You're going to head around, you're going to head west, then north, then south a little bit. It's going to, or west and north and east a little bit, and it's going to be in a very confined area. You click a lever, and then you go back where you came from, then go south and then east. And then there's going to be a chest with a key, and that key will unlock a door in this house, which will let you get a chest. You just walk back through. I just died here. You can run west and get out if you have tools. I think it's a dig spot. Then you can just leave. But if you die, which is fine early for this ring, like I said, I died twice for it, then you can just go back through, and instead of taking the ladder, you walk a little farther, get the ring from the chest. The key, notably, is not level locked, so you can get the key at level 1 and lose like no XP if you want. And then come back at level 5 to open the chest for the ring. The next item is a chest piece you get from this tower. It is a chest piece that gives you health and armor. You might be wondering, why are you recommending a health chest piece? Like, I'm a wizard, I want to do damage. There is a damage chest piece early you can get called the Dark Robe that gives you negative health and positive magic. Although, as I have established before, magic on gear is a little overrated because it doesn't get your multiplier. And I really value being a little tankier early, so I would recommend the health chest piece. Though if you want the Dark Robe, it also drops from the Gardener. Next item I will say you should get is the wooden staff. You buy it from a wizardly looking merchant in the caravan around here for 200 gold. It's a very good deal. That merchant also has a quest line, which you do need dash for, or you will get stuck. You talk to that merchant, say quest to him 5 times, and then he will teleport you right here. Then you walk through this door, there's a chest with a magic hat. It's a very good early game hat. And then you walk out, dash across here twice, and you're home free. You're back in Basil. You got a free hat for nothing. The last item I will say you should get is a pair of brass leggings. You get that in the night market, which you enter by going through this little passageway here, go under into the underground area. You talk to the man, say key, and then yes, and then he will sell you a key for, I believe, 50 gold, something around there, nothing crazy, and then you enter into the black market. And then the merchants sell various things, although the prices are often not listed. They have a question mark, so you have to put money in and try to buy the item, and they will take like a certain amount of money that you do not know from you. But those brass leggings are very good. They give you mana regen and armor. You really value the tankiness. The mana regen is just really nice. And yeah, that is my early game mage guide. Hopefully now you understand what mage is, why you should play it, when to become a mage, how to become a mage. You understand my build, my tree that I go early game, what stats you should prioritize on gear and on level up, and you should have a good little kit to run once you decide to go mage. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. As I said earlier, am live on twitch.tv/odewhirl. I plan to make future videos for mid-game mage. I plan to do some world first and server first clears with a group of players, if you want to see those. Should be a lot of interesting videos coming in the future. Feel free, if you want, to come to my stream. If you have any further questions, I'm happy to help new players. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And hopefully this was helpful. Goodbye.